Morning all, how are we all doing? Sorry, had a weird glitch thing going on with the stream then. It started the wrong stream for some reason. Don't know why. Morning Danny, morning Yusuf, morning Forex, Fire, Church, Paul, Sarah, Virginia, how we doing? FTNet, morning. So yeah, weird. Don't know what happened there. But I'm here now. DAX this morning got a hedge on already. This was a quick whipsaw this morning. Morning Linus. Yeah, big Whippy open today. Morning, Vitali. Good night. Good night. Already. Morning, Neo. So big whipsaw on the DAX this morning at the open. So need to deal with a hedge on that. So pre-market range was there. Even if you'd taken the 15-minute pre-market, we've whipped all the way up to there and all the way down to there. So huge whipsaw at the open. FTSE's triggered long. Two really nice clean breaks yesterday. Made over $1,000 yesterday on these. Lovely, easy money yesterday. Both all clean breaks everywhere. Everything that triggered anyway. So looking at these today. Oh, it's very whippy today, isn't it? Yeah, 5R. So this high here basically on the DAX. That's yesterday's high, previous day's high, last week's high. Also the high of that day there. So this whole area here basically is upside resistance. So 5R to the upside is a good target. Downside, yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that either. So this previous weekly level, and we got this area down to the lows there. So yesterday's low and previous day's low. If we break those two, we're going to flush down into this area here, which is a previous either support or resistance. That is the 2-week high. So that's the 2 week ago's high point, which we've triggered onto already last week. So upside and downside, looking for those levels there. FTSE not really going anywhere either. What a crap open. Look at it. Yeah, so hedged on both. Well, we'll be in a second. So upside target on the FTSE. We're going to leave at 5R. Downside 5R, which will be beyond ADR today. So that's going to trigger a hedge in a second. We might not hedge. There we go, hedged. So targets upside and downside. What a load of crap this morning. I don't bother looking at those anymore. Morning, Jury. Morning, Gregors. Morning, Marcus. Ismet, how are we all doing? So, right. Today's news. Not a lot. It's one of those weeks this week already. Morning, Mark. There was no news yesterday. Jury, welcome to the private streams. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you in 9 o'clock. Welcome aboard. So for those of you don't know about the private streams, there's private streams run at 9 o'clock every day, or member streams, whatever you want to call them. Today, we are covering market condition and signal indicators and which ones to choose for the 3 main strategy types. So we're looking at how to use specific indicators to identify the conditions you need for a signal entry. So it's very easy, basically, but it's stuff that people don't understand or don't really know, I guess, you would say. So whenever you come across a system, if you don't understand, and this is one of the key things that I do with all of my systems and strategies, I detail and break them down in intricate detail for everybody because I think you need to fully understand what a system or strategy's working parts are for you to have any faith in it. And you need to understand why those pieces are in that machine. Same with an EA. If you put an EA on your chart and you don't know what it's doing, you shouldn't put the EA on your chart. If you don't fully understand exactly what the mechanics are, why it's doing what it's doing, and the reason, everything that works inside of it, you shouldn't be using it. Yeah. So this week's streams are all about looking at understanding the 3 main types of indicator there are, and understanding the 3 main strategies and how those 3 indicators apply to those strategies. Yeah. So if you've got a breakout strategy that doesn't use some kind of condition indicator to find contraction, it's not going to work. So that's basically what this week's streams are all about. So yeah, I'll see you at 9 o'clock, Jury. Mark, private streams have been good. I'm binging at the moment, trying to catch up. I'm going to go into a loop with the private streams. So there's only a certain amount of stuff you can say, because there's only a certain amount of stuff that is worth saying. So when I get to the end of all the planned content I've got, we'll go back and start again. So anybody that's in the member streams, if you're in the member streams for sort of a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, you're going to get everything anyway. But if the specific sections, obviously they're all on YouTube anyway. So all the member streams, actually the best way to do it is to go onto the main page and down here. Yeah. That's all the member stuff. Yeah. So I've titled each one. So if there's something you're like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I'm interested in main or candlestick patterns for reversals. We'll go and watch that one. And they're all ridiculously long. They were meant to be an hour. So far, I haven't managed to do one in an hour. I think the shortest one we've had is an hour and 32. Actually, yesterday's might have been shorter. Oh, 1 hour 25. Good. 1 hour 43. Yeah, so 1 hour 25. So they're meant to be an hour long. Sorry, I waffle. Overnight news, nothing. Let me scroll back and refresh it. So yeah, overnight news, nothing particularly exciting overnight at all, as you can see, scrolling back. Yesterday, there was no news. There's just nothing happening. Yeah, so there's no unplanned news coming out. I did just see a Bank of Japan. I just want to see if they're talking about the US dollar yen rate at the moment. They're not. No. Okay. Yeah, so nothing overnight. Today's news, we've got the BRICS summit starting today. That's unlikely to do anything, this summit. It's basically them all getting their heads together and talking about how they're going to overthrow the US dollar. So, it's not really going to have any impact, I don't think, unless they suddenly announce that Russia is no longer going to trade anything in US dollars. We are only going to use the Indian rupee. In which case, obviously, that is going to have a big impact because the US dollar volume will drop dramatically. So there is a possibility of one of them dropping a bomb, but Russia bomb, had to say it, but unlikely. So we'll see. The only news we've got that could be very impactful today is 2:25 this afternoon. We've got Bailey speaking. So we are waiting for Bailey to confirm what the interest rate drop is going to be and confirm his plans for the rest of this year for interest rates. We've overshot inflation. He needs to get them down. He knows that. He will say it at some point. Whether it's today or not, we don't know. So this is the Bloomberg Global Regulatory Forum in New York. So it is a big New York banker meeting. So there is a possibility of him saying something. This isn't a press conference, so he's not going to get any awkward questions. So touch and go. But this is the biggest news event today that we've got. We've got Harker speaking and Lagarde as well later today. Lagarde has kind of said everything after the ECB rate announcement last week. So Harker, obviously, they say everything all the time, the Fed. So potentially there is some movement today, but mainly should be focused on the pound. Other than that, it's just general trading volume. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow is the first day of proper news. We've got the overnight rate for the Canadian dollar, which is dropping by 0.5%. So that press conference there is going to be the main driver for tomorrow's news. No US news coming up, really, of any interest. So first US news we've got is unemployment on Thursday and the PMIs. So the front end of this week is all weighted towards nothing, basically, but price action. So morning, JC. Trend Invest Shorts. Morning. What's your opinion on looking at the Dixie for dollar analysis? Well, that is the dollar. So the Dixie is the dollar. Have I got the Dixie? I'm just trying to figure out if I've got a Dixie. Come on. No, I haven't got Dixie anywhere. I used to have the Dixie. I used to look at the Dixie on a daily basis, but I don't anymore, because if you look at this and turn it upside down, that is the Dixie. So the euro US dollar is 100% inverse correlated to the dollar index. So if you go and get a chart of the Dixie, here, a proper chart. Can we not have a daily chart? You're not, no one's got any intraday charts available, no? Yahoo? Can you do it? Yeah, whatever. All right, fine. Well, you look at the and how do I zoom in? Oh, it's charting. It's crap, isn't it, online? Market what? CNBC, dollar index. Slightly better. No use. Anyway, doesn't matter. You have to trust me on it. I'm right. Basically, if you look at the US dollar index at the moment, it's doing this. Yeah. So it's complete inverse to that. Yeah. So just look at this. It does the same thing. But yeah, it's basically telling you the dollar. But we don't trade individuals, do we? We trade crosses in Forex. So looking at one particular currency doesn't help you. I can tell you what the US dollar is doing very easily by purely just going and looking at the Aussie dollar US dollar. It's coming down. The euro US dollar is coming down. The pound US dollar is coming down. The New Zealand dollar US dollar. The US dollar is going up. The Dixie index is rising. You don't really need to. But if you want a quick snapshot, you can look at it, obviously. Saw an article today that US banks are sitting on 515 billion unrealized losses. That's bad for them. Trading View, yeah, I can't be asked for Trading View. I hate Trading View. It's horrible. I hate online platforms like that. Anyway, personal preference. Right, so today, the ADRs we've got are yen based. So yesterday, I took a yen trade. I shorted the US dollar, the Swiss yen, basically. So we had a massive ADR hit of, I think we were 175 on this. So we did 180 on a 96 ADR, so pretty much 200 ADR. ADRs for me, as soon as you start getting into the 150 to 200 areas, I'm paying attention. Yeah, because there is a very high probability of an intraday pullback at those levels. Yeah, so if we've moved more than 150% of our average daily range, I'm interested. It's also a yen pair. And the fact that it's a Swiss yen as well interested me, because the Swiss and the yen are correlated and they move together. So this is probably the safest yen pair to trade, because you've got only one influence on it, basically, which is the yen. So I took a short yesterday on it. We've rallied again today, not to ADR, but not far away. So I'm almost at the point of second entry on this. So if we do get an ADR hit on this today, I'll be taking a second entry and scaling in and looking for a pullback on that leg there. But if you look at what the yens have done, all the yens yesterday were weak. Well, that one wasn't. But we had weakness this morning. So that's an ADR hit today as well. But the yens had a fairly weak day yesterday. But if you look at what is happening with the yen at the moment, we are really, really, really range bound at the moment with all the yen pairs. So as we got some movement on the Swiss yen yesterday, which was mainly to do with Swiss franc. Yeah, so Swiss franc was strong. I decided to take a short on it. I won't be taking any others, but that will be second entry on that one today. But I'm hoping we just pull back. And this was the area that was interesting to me. So the reason I took this one was because we were coming up to a double weekly top. Fortunately, this morning we smashed straight through that. So looking for a pullback basically into the propulsion move from yesterday, but I'll be watching that high. So ideally what I'd like to see is this push up today into ADR, so I can get a second entry on, average in above that high and look to target there for a pullback. So if this is going to break out on either Swiss strength or yen weakness, be looking for a pullback into there. So I did take that one yesterday. It's nicely extended on the ADR as well, on both time frames. So it's a nice looking short. So I took that one yesterday. US dollar CAD, I exited one yesterday. This thing, I said yesterday in the morning in the live stream, I said I will give it the day. If we break the high of last week, I will start to scale out. So I've done it. I've scaled out. So I've taken the initial position off just to keep the average under control. I'm 125 ADR. I need one down day. I either need positive CAD news, i.e. tomorrow, Bank of Canada, if you're listening. If you could just drop your rates by 0.25% and not 0.5%, that would be fantastic, because the Canadian dollar will be at 200 ADR. Or US dollar, if you could have really bad unemployment figures on Thursday, and your PMI numbers are down, that'd be fantastic. So all I'm looking for is basically some negative US news or positive CAD news, and I'm out. But I can't hold it indefinitely. So I took a 3.5% loss on the initial position yesterday. I'm up 10.5-ish on the month. So it hurt, but it's got to be done. So I added another position up there as I exited on a break of the high and looking for basically a rejection of last week's high. So this is 9 days solid bull rally with a flag. So I'm looking basically for an M pattern reversal up at these highs. I'm looking for this exhaustion move to be added into. Yeah. So we'll see. This is either the profit take or it's not, but it's all dependent on that. Yeah, it's all dependent on the news. So we're waiting to see what happens. We've also got, the other reason I scaled into a second on another position on this, although I exited that, is we've got very nice bear divergence went in yesterday. Yeah, so from this area where we made the high before the pullback, RSI is triggering a lower high, but price made a higher high, which is a sign of exhaustion from the bulls, which means that there's a good chance the bears, if they can get some momentum, are going to start to run this back down. And then obviously as soon as we start that look like a M pattern reversal coming in, everyone with long positions on will see their P&Ls dropping. They will start to exit positions, which means they hit the short button. As soon as they hit the short button, the momentum starts, the sellers jump on board, and the profit take happens. So if we can get some news that triggers that move, i.e. bull news on the CAD or bear news on the US, that should kickstart the move. Just waiting for it. We've got nothing. We had nothing yesterday. We've got nothing today. So it's unlikely we're going to get the move today. But what I'm looking for today is for that to hold. So playing it day by day on this one at the minute. ADRs today, Aussie dollar yen. That's already hit. So you've probably already had the reversal. Yeah, missed it. So there's your ADR, there's your reversal, there's your retest, there's your M pattern. So good looking little short up there on the Aussie yen and the New Zealand dollar yen. Again, for those that came into the member stream about confluence of pairs, yeah, it's the same thing. Trade one or the other, not both. New Zealand yen, Aussie yen. I am changing charts, but you can't really tell because they are exactly the same pair. So take one or the other, whichever. They both had a reverse alert in pretty much the same spot. Oh, actually, that one's had a little bit of a lower entry. But so those are your ADRs today. Nothing's hit the weeklies. Monthly wise, did we have Aussie US yesterday? I'm not sure if we did. Not sure if this was a hit from yesterday or not. $265. Obviously can't count. But yeah, it's over the weekly range. So long opportunity on that. You've missed it. I'm already in this one long anyway. So I took another position on that yesterday. Average is up at the highs. But that is a weekly hit as well. Looking for a push back up, basically on that leg, which is now kind of there. But looking for a push back up into there. We've also got a monthly level, which is coming up within 150 ADR. That's my fourth position on that one. Will be there, looking for the limit orders at the monthlies to trigger. And that's a complete A-shaped recovery on that move over the last 2 months. So we'll find limit orders triggering at that monthly low as well. So doesn't matter which way that one goes. If it pushes up into the recent highs, I'm out. If it pushes down, I'm getting in on the monthly, and I'll get out on the leg that goes up from there. So those are your weeklies, monthlies, and dailies. ADRs, there's only the Swiss yen. And again, sorry, RSIs. Another reason I took this one yesterday, it's confluence. Yeah, remember we were talking about everything lining up to make a case. Yeah, so we got RSI extended on the hourly. We've got RSI extended on the 4 hourly. Yeah, we've got a weekly double top high. And an ADR at 175. So there was 4 reasons yesterday to get into a short on this. So it's good opportunity from a probabilities perspective. However, obviously it's pushed off further today, so we'll be managing that by taking another one up in this propulsion gap at ADR today if we get there. And then obviously average will be there, which means my target moves to there. But at the moment I'm targeting that low down there. So that's your weekly, your 4 hour RSI. Apart from that, not a lot else today to talk about. That's it. Because yesterday was pretty mediocre apart from some of these yen extensions. So everything else is just sitting around. We had a lovely bounce yesterday on Euro US dollar. Double, so limit orders triggered basically at the weekly lows. So we've got double bottom potential going in. So looking basically for a retest of the highs at 125 ADR. And then hopefully a pullback and break to obviously get out of this move. But again, as with everything on the US dollar, we are reliant on some negative news coming through on that. You're going for a break even on US dollar CAD? No, never go for break even. Always go for profit. There's no point in doing it if you're going to get out at break even every time, is there? So, yeah. This is the thing that you can't simulate on the EA, and this is there was somebody yesterday in Discord wanting my personal P&L. I don't give that out, and I understand where people are coming from, but trading is not cut and dry. There is nobody on this planet that I know of that is profitable with a mechanical trading system. I don't care who comes up on your timeline saying I've got a mechanical trading system that works. It doesn't. Yeah, you can't trade mechanically with 100% success. It's just not going to happen, because you need to pay attention to market conditions, which are changing on a daily and weekly basis, fundamentals, which are changing on a daily and weekly basis, world economics, which is changing regularly, world events, which are constantly changing. Yeah, for 20 years, we've had the yen with negative interest rates and they haven't moved them. Now they've got positive interest rates and they're not using dollar bond purchasing to supply and prop up their currency. For 20 years, that's what they've been doing, and it's been a carry trade. Now it's not. You can't just suddenly carry on for the next 20 years trading the yen in the same way. It's a different thing now. So you've got to adapt. And this is where you come in. Yeah. So for example, this entry here and here that I took off there, you can't simulate that with the EA. Yeah. With the position trading EA or the market reverse alerts EA. I took that because of the strength of this move, and I was worried about a flag break. So I decided to bank some profit. It was the right call. It may not have been the wrong call. If it had done that, I'd have been going, wish I hadn't have taken that off. But, you know, and whether you get out at a break even on something. So for this one is a great example. So I got into this on the 7th of October. So I haven't been in it for long. We're only on the 22nd. So I haven't been in it for more than a couple of weeks. Yeah. But if my P&L, for example, right now, it consisted of 3 trades, one of them the US dollar CAD, and my monthly profit was sitting at 15%. And this thing got here and gave me a break-even exit, I might take it off because I've done 15% for the month and I don't want to risk it double bottoming and bouncing away. So I might take it off. If I'm sitting on virtually no profit for the month and a move down to here is going to bank me 7%, I might hold it. But that decision is made by me based on my personal circumstances and feelings on how this trade is going. You can't replicate that. So I could get out on a 125 ADR hit at break even. And there's a good argument for that. Yeah. Because that's where the flag break low was. Yeah. So if it hits that level again, there's going to be limit orders sitting there. We know that because it rallied for 3 days off that level. So we know there's buyers here. When it gets there, there may be more. I don't know. Yeah. There's no one on this planet right now that can tell you what price is going to do there. They'll tell you they think they know, because obviously everybody's got to have an opinion, either long or short. It's a 50-50 probability of a bounce at that point, or a break at that point. But no one on the planet's going to tell you until you get to that point. And then as soon as it hits that point, everyone will go, hey, there's a bull candle. It's definitely a buy. Or, wee, well done. I don't know. Yeah. So, but the decision-making process is yours. You have to make that decision. But if you get out a break even every time you get into a position, you will never make any money. Yeah. This job is about making money. But also the other thing, look at where my TPs are at the moment on this. I've got staggered TPs. And again, this isn't something you can simulate or do with the EA in backtesting. And this is what the guy in Discord yesterday was saying. I've been doing backtesting and it blows the account. Yeah, it will do. If you let things run, if you just basically go short and it goes long, and you shut your eyes and cross your fingers and keep adding positions and it continues to go long, you're going to blow your account. Yeah. I've never said that that won't happen, and it will happen, which is why I teach drawdown control. Yeah, which is why I took a 3.5% loss yesterday, because it's going wrong. You get out. I'm not taking losses. I'm taking losses when I need to take losses, but I'm not taking losses just because something's gone the wrong way. But look at where my TPs are. That position there is getting out here on this propulsion gap, which will allow me to bank 2.8%, which will allow me to shut 50% of that and 50% of that and put money in the bank. So reducing my lot size, getting out here, and my average will then be somewhere about there, meaning that if we get a pullback continuation, I can get out there with the rest of my profit. I've planned this. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but it's what I've planned. It's completely discretionary. This is what I keep saying. There is no way of having a fully automated system where you just don't trade. If that was possible, you, I, and everyone else in this planet would be multi-billionaires, wouldn't we? Yeah. If somebody had created an EA that could work on full auto, where you could sit on a beach drinking Mai Tais and just make money, we'd all be doing it. It doesn't exist. And no one can show me anybody that's doing that. Doesn't matter how many people selling you courses take a picture of themselves on a laptop on a beach with a Mai Tai next to them. They ain't doing that. They're not making their money by doing that. They're making their money by selling you a course. Yeah. Because they don't know how to discretionary trade. That's the problem. They've got a system or a strategy which on paper, looking at history, works. But history is never going to repeat itself. So the long-winded answer to your question, Travel, is I won't be getting out of break even unless my other trades have banked 3 or 4% this week. Then I might decide to. But I'll see what the P&L is when the news comes out and the PMIs on Thursday, because that's when this thing's going to move. Or tomorrow when the CAD rate comes out. Yeah, if the CAD rate comes out at 0.5 drop tomorrow, that is bearish Canadian dollar. However, we've already factored in that move. Yeah, so it's going to go down to what the Bank of Canada says they are doing for the rest of this year. If they say we are going to be cautious now and we will probably not drop the rates, but we might look at doing a 0.25 by the end of this year, depending on the inflation number, which we're expecting to bounce, that is probably bearish for the Canadian. Yeah, it might do that. If they say we're not expecting a bounce, it might be bullish, bearish for the CAD. Bullish for the CAD, which means it's going to come down. They might say that they're going to drop it by 0.75 by the end of the year, in which case you're going to find this down here somewhere tomorrow. We just don't know. Yeah. And this is the problem. Every EA that you test, every strategy that you back test is looking at what the fundamentals were at the time you did the test. Yeah. The fundamentals last month are not the same as this month. They won't be the same next month either. Yeah. If in Iran chuck a missile, look at my Swiss yen trade as an example. If Iran chuck a missile into Israel and it hits Netanyahu's house while he's there, it's going to kick off. The Swiss yen will be down here by Friday. Yeah. The strategy that you backtested on the Swiss yen over the last 6 months, that missile hit hadn't happened. Yeah. If a missile hit had happened, you would have had a totally different result on your P&L, and the strategy may have been completely wrong. But you won't know that because the news is in stone, isn't it? This price action, this move here, was caused by a fundamental news event. Now, that fundamental news event could have come out as nothing, in which case the strategy that you were trading at that point made a completely different result, which is why everything that you do in the future is going to be completely different to everything that you've tested in the past. Yeah. So what you can do with EAs and backtesting and strategy testing and development, which is what we've covered in the members stream in the very first week, was you can test what is the best thing to do and what is the worst thing to do. So the best and the worst thing to do is always going to be the right thing. What is the right thing? The right thing is what's right for you at that point in time. When this gives you an exit, do you want or need it? The EA can't make that decision. No strategy in stone can make that decision. You can make that decision. Other than that, that's it. That's all you've got, isn't it? At the end of the day. Franco, I need my rest. Oh, okay. Doing well the last few weeks, greatly due to your market intelligence reports. I like that. Market intelligence reports. Ah, that's good. I like that. I'm a spy. I'm a market spy. Enjoying the passive H4 chart trading. Very good. H4 is a lovely time frame. Nice and slow. Do you have your settings on ADR 60 now for the A? Yes. I'm using ADR 60. Just for scalings, not for ADR reversals. ADR reversals are still ADR 10. But the scalings are ADR 60, yeah. Just to smooth it out. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's different. Do a back test. Excuse me. If you do a back test with a position trader EA or the market reversal alerts EA, and just change the ADR number to 60 instead of 10 down there. So do the same, do a test, get a test out. Something somebody asked me the other day. When I run a test, I've no idea what this is going to do. I'm just going to run a quick test. Daily chart. That's not going to work, is it? Let's do something on the hourly. I don't even know what this is set up to do. When you run a test, a system parameter permutation test or a normal test, normally a system parameter permutation test, I don't know what this is doing. Something. Somebody asked me the other day, it's got to be a system parameter permutation test. Let me just quickly do one. Let's do the test on ADR. So I'm going to do 10, 20, up to 60. 10, 10. Let's just run that because it gives me 3. I need to get a negative result out of this as well. So somebody asked me, when you run a system parameter permutation test, and this is something we're covering in the member streams, and you don't get any results, he was asking, why can't we see what the actual result was, the negative results? Yeah. So on this page here, you can't see very well, but let me move it over. Yeah, these are the test results here. Okay. And that profit column, if everything in that column was a negative, you wouldn't get a result, right? You can get a result. If you right click in the optimization settings, this is checked as default. Skip useless results. This has just reminded me because somebody asked about this. So whoever it was, this is the answer. I have sent the answer to them, but if that is checked as default, skip useless results. If you have that checked and the profit comes out as a negative, it doesn't include it, right? If you have that unchecked, it will show you the negative results as well. So somebody asked me about this the other day, and it's something that's quite important. I didn't cover this in the member stream about system parameter permutation testing or robustness testing, because when I'm doing a robustness test, I'm looking to see how many pass, not what the results of the fails were. But it is interesting data to have. So for this test that I've just run here, for example, it made profit of $600, $500, but it also made a $2.5 grand loss on one of the permutations using ADR 10. Yeah, ADR 10 isn't as good, I think, as ADR 60 for scaling in. Yeah, so just wanted to point that out. Because somebody asked about it. So that is how you get those negative results if you want them. I can't remember why I was saying that. Oh yeah, ADR 60. So yeah, ADR 60, run that test. So run an H1M5 mean reversion or whatever mean reversion you want to run. This is running RSI mean reversion at the moment. No idea what it's doing. That's running 10 on the daily. Yeah, and just test the difference. So, you know, this is what system parameter permutation testing is about. It's about showing you what is the best thing to do, but what impact something has. So if I get in with ADR 10 scaling, I go into something like 3.5% of drawdown at maximum. If I get in with ADR 60 scaling, it gets down to 2.5% drawdown. So basically, they are both good. They both work, but what the impact of a higher ADR is lower drawdown. Yeah, because you exit faster. So that's what testing is all about, is showing you what the impact is, not what the results are. The results are never going to happen again. Yeah, what you've just done in that test, this price action you see, is never going to repeat itself in that order. You are never going to get that happen again. Yeah, you are going to get RSI extended. You are going to hit ADR. But what happens after you hit ADR or RSI in the future is going to be completely different to what you've done in your test. Yeah, price action will pull back from RSI extensions. The distance it pulls back and how it pulls back, yeah, is random. So that's what this tells you. Is it better to scale in half an ADR apart with ADR 10 or 60? If 60 on multiple tests gives you lower drawdown and you are after lower drawdown, you are better using that. If you don't mind about the drawdown because ADR 10 gives you a higher profit number and you're into profit, then you use that one. But again, all personal preference, isn't it? Nobody's got the same, nobody wants the same thing out of trading. Some people are risk tolerant, some people are risk averse. If you're risk averse, drawdown is what you want to keep under control. If you're risk tolerant, profit is what you want to get the most of. But you're happy to take more drawdown. Like me, I'm very risk averse most of the time. But that changes as well. I am curious about how you get out of this US dollar CAD. Exciting, yeah. So there you go. So that's my plan anyway. But that's my plan today. And again, you know, plans change. That's what I'm looking at right now. I've also got Aussie US and Euro US on, yeah. So Aussie US, my average is about the same, 150 ADR. So if we can break this high from yesterday and the day before, using this double bottom bounce as momentum, that's where I'm planning to get out. So if I hit that, yeah, tick, done, 2.5%. And if Euro US dollar, let's say Lagarde announces this afternoon that they're going to freeze rates for the rest of this year because they're worried about a large bounce in inflation because they've seen the services and inflation going up, and this suddenly goes up to there and hits that. If that's hit that and the Aussie US has hit that, my exit strategy on the Euro US is going to be different because I've just banked 5%. So I'm more likely to get out at a break even on the US dollar CAD and go, that was a nasty trade, didn't lose anything, than trying to make profit out of the US CAD. Again, it's a portfolio approach, isn't it? Position trading. So your decision-making process changes. Noob, morning, you're late. Right, that's really it for today. So this morning we're going to be covering market condition and signal indicators for the main three strategies: mean reversion, trend, and breakout. And we're going to look at what indicators are useful for each. It's a bit of an off-the-cuff session this morning, mainly because there are 1,000 indicators that work for each. Apart from trend trading, there's only one. But so I'm going to just give examples, basically, of what you should be looking for within strategies and what you should be using for developing strategies if you're looking to develop your own strategies. The types of condition indicator that work the best, rather than the one that works the best, because obviously there isn't one. But what you need to look for, basically, as a condition, which is the key point. And signals, obviously. We're going to look at signal indicators, which are the best ones. If you've done the price action part of the member streams, you're probably going to know the answer to that one already. So anyway, DAX is broken along. So target for the reversal on the DAX is yesterday's high, previous day's high, last week's high. So I'll be getting out of the longs there, and then I'll be getting into an aggressive short exit, depending on what the profit's going to be up there, which looks like it's going to be somewhere in the region of £1,200. So I'll be looking to get about 250 to 300 out of the reversal. FTSE's dead. No movement on FTSE today. This propulsion move is holding up at the minute. Tested that twice now. They're definitely rebuying that area. So this could well break long today. Very difficult to pick. So ADR is obviously the most obvious thing to go for to the upside. If we get to the average daily range, then we're probably going to get exhausted. It's the only real plan on that one today, because it's all over the place. But DAX, nice clean break. That's a real shame. If you took the 5-minute ORB today, which is there, you'll be long on that. But obviously it's quite a big range. So you're probably sitting at 1R on it if you took the 5-minute ORB rather than the pre-market. But rallying nicely today. DAX is totally stuck at the moment. 5 days now. Stuck. So obviously, if we're going to continue to be stuck, that's the plan. Until it breaks out and gives us a reason to assume a continuation, that's really all it's doing at the minute. Obviously, it is long at the moment. We're up at all-time highs. So we'll see. But it's struggling at the minute to go anywhere. Right. If anybody's got any other pairs they want to look at, let me know now. Other than that, that's it for today. Not a lot else to look at, really. New Zealand dollar, US dollar? That's weird. That's what I'm on. Stuck. So I've got long on this at the moment. From all the way back here, look. Been stuck in this for just over 2 weeks now on this 4-hour RSI extension. Looking for that pullback at the monthly low. We got the pullback at the monthly low, look. We got the limit orders all triggered, and then we had a news event which slammed it. Since that, we're stuck. So we're buying at the moment. It looks like we're buying this propulsion move, which isn't particularly strong because it's just a retracement really on that. So I don't think this is the reason that is buying, but it is nicely going bull now. But it's a bearish move. So the reason I was looking at that is because I overexposed myself by accident. After preaching a minute ago, don't get into Aussie and New Zealand pairs on the same currency cross because they do the same thing. I'm long Aussie US and I'm long New Zealand US. I was expecting to be out of this one by now, but obviously it's, as you can see, we've had that's the 2 week range. So 2 weeks totally sideways. So I'm looking basically, I was just looking at my target on it and how achievable it is. Because we're approaching ADR. So what I might do today, because I've got the exposure on the Aussie as well, is I might close this out if we get an ADR hit today, and then basically use the profit from this, which will be there, to either get rid of that or reduce it down by about 3/4, which will just leave me the one buy in profit. But the trouble is my average is here, look. Yeah, so when we get to ADR, I'm not far away from the average. So dependent on what happens today, this I might just close out because I'm overexposed. Like with everything with the US at the moment, we're waiting for some negative news. Unfortunately, last week, I said on yesterday's stream, last week, every single news event for the US dollar just went the wrong way. So it just all went the wrong way, basically. So everything was positive. Yeah, even crude came out against it. So it was all basically good news for the US, which isn't what I wanted to have. I wanted negative, some negative, just to give it that kickstart. But we did, even though it was negative news, we did get positive news. We did get that little bit of a pullback last week on the US. So again, looking at the euro US dollar as the inverse dollar index, that's what we got off the news last week. So we did actually get a little bit of a pullback, but after a positive news event, which means basically when you get a positive news event that turns into a V-shaped recovery, or positive news that turns into an A-shaped recovery, whichever it is, it means basically that was a knee-jerk reaction and not the actual news. So the chances of that happening and you getting that reversal in structure starting is higher. Unfortunately, it didn't happen with this one, but as you can see, we didn't get the reversal alert. And that's where I'm looking, ideally, to get back to, which would be a 50% retracement on a new leg. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing with it anyway at the moment. I'm looking for an exit. Unfortunately, it looks like the bears are stepping in this morning, which isn't surprising after the rally we've had. So retest of that reversal alert would be good to get up to here and test that high. So this area here is previous support, turned resistance. So this area basically is rough target, which is basically my average. So that's what I would like to see. Whether it happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. There you go. Right. So if you're coming in the member streams, I will see you in 10 minutes. I'm ahead of schedule today. Look, still got a timer, which is good. Yeah, so we'll be covering that today in the member stream. Anything you need, let me know in Discord. Other than that, I will be back tomorrow, same time. And tomorrow, obviously, is the big day. So it's Canadian interest rates tomorrow, which is going to be the main driving force in tomorrow's price action. So tomorrow morning probably be fairly sideways, and then obviously we'll kick off tomorrow afternoon. So be careful if you're trading the US indices tomorrow afternoon if you're not about, because obviously the volatility is going to be low at the open. But today it should be good. All right, so have a good day. Anybody needs anything, I'll be in Discord. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow. Or if you're coming in the member streams, I'll see you in 10 minutes. Have a good day.